we move to item 8. We've had some problems with some break-ins at our wells.
Yes, we did, and as a matter of fact, they came back last night.
Oh, really?
Yes. And they got a 3-inch cable.
It's for well 31. It has 4160 volts, and it's the line from our box over to the motor itself. So they cut and took that. So we'll have to now replace that before we can even get well 31 up and going again. So that's the second time at that site. It's been vandalized in the last about 2 weeks, and site 30 also 2 times. We've been adding some security measures there, but this is the next step of protecting our source water supply.
Would you venture a guess to the cost of that replacement?
You know, the cost, it'll be a few $100s with the cost of the cable, and it might be, it'll actually probably be over $1,000, I'm guessing, by the time the cost of equipment and then installing it, have an electrician come out and do that. So it's not as, and right now the well's down, but if this well is up and running in the middle of summer, and it's our main producing well, so that's, you know, that's priceless. I mean, and if they damage something else, say like motor controls, that's not something that's just on the shelf, and we can, so we get something in place that notifies in during the actual event that we can do something about it.
I just hate that kind of loss. It's just terrible.
Can you walk us through the 2 options?
Yeah, the option 1 in the package, which is roughly almost $26,000, is to have alarms that will notify us if there is a break-in, and also have camera equipment on site and recording equipment on site, so it's motion activated. So if there's something that the cameras pick up, it'll kick on and start recording the information, and all the information will be stored on site. And the downside of that is, if they're clever enough and good enough, they can take the camera equipment and the recording equipment, and we don't have anything to show for it. The second option of almost $47,000 allows for the camera equipment and recording equipment to be on site, but also a data feed to a centralized location here at the office, so that we also have whatever's being recorded on site being captured
So
here.
if they take the equipment, at least we'll have them on film taking the equipment.
Yes.
Where to go to get it back?
What,
See, this falls under
what's
the
a
sheriff's office.
what's the monthly cost?
The monthly data cost, we're probably, I think we're upwards in the $300 or $400 range per month on the data cost. For option 2. On option 1, there is no.
Do you have a value on what's been taken to date?
You know, up at well 30, they've gutted. When I say gut, they've removed pretty much every piece of copper out of the transformers, the pump house.
Well, maybe the value's not as good as a replacement
Cost. You know, up there it's kind of different. I mean, because we were already kind of decommissioning well 30, we do motor controls, and using that on another site at 32. But yeah, if we had to go in and replace that equipment, I mean, we would be tens of thousands, I'm sure, with installation, you know, on top of that cost.
With 30, that doesn't matter.
It
More
does.
worried about
31, you know, they haven't done as near as much the damage there. They've we have a lubrication system for that well that they damaged and removed, and then this electric cable again. So there's probably, you know, a few $1,000s done at well 31 as of right now. But you know, the precedence they're setting is coming back every week.
Yeah,
or
well,
so.
this is-
It's getting more brazen to me.
We need to catch them, and we need to prosecute them to the fullest extent. I think that falls under the federal mandate, or federal laws of
Water
messing
conveying
with.
systems there.
Yeah.
And I think we ought to make sure the papers, you know, put that out there, that when we catch the little suckers, whoever they may be, that they will be prosecuted to the full 6.
But it is a federal offense.
So, and I think Aaron.
I better hope the cops catch him before I do.
As Aaron said, you know, if they do take, you know, the motor controls or something like that, where it's gonna cost $20,000 or $30,000 to replace the motor controls, that is, you know, that's concerning. But what's even more concerning is if this was in, like you said, in the middle of summer, where our largest producing well that produces 30% of our water is down for 3 or 4 weeks while we're trying to get new motor controls in place and installed and get the well up and running, that you know, 4 weeks or 5 weeks that it takes us to get the well back in operation is, well, it drops us below what our peak demands are on the water system significantly.
Well, and part of the concern is not just the dam, I mean, the safety of the water user too. I mean, you know, they get, not to get too graphic, but if they get into a treatment plant,
We just issue everybody shotguns?
Were these some of the recommendations that were also back when the vulnerability study was done?
The vulnerability study was vague. I mean, it wasn't specific. It did say we needed to have security measures such as cameras and things like that, but it didn't go into specifics as to whether or not it's a data feed or it's an on-site type of thing. But yeah, the vulnerability assessment that was done back in 2004 time frame, you know, had some general recommendations that.
Have we talked to MPD at all about recommendations as far as what they recommend? How we protect us?
Yeah, Metro,
We've talked to them about, you know, we've reported the problem, but we have not talked to them about, you know, recommended, you know, physical hardening of the facilities to protect them.
But what you recommend is pretty standard for.
Yes.
This is the $26,000. What are you recommending?
You're probably recommending the second.
Yeah, my recommendation is to go with something that, because they're starting to show that they are fairly clever, and I think they're not too far away from being smart enough to taking the data recording equipment.
Especially after they read the newspaper.
and regionally, this is the thing
Yeah,
going
that's
on
a nice
regionally. It's
idea.
just, and so I think we can see what's going on elsewhere and say, you know, it's getting worse. I would say in the region. You go out in Lincoln County. I know Lincoln County's had lots of theft and vandalism at some of their remote mine sites and things of that nature. Across the border in Utah, I know there was a very large copper.
Is this something similar to what, say, Southern Nevada Water Authority is using, or?
Yes.
Some of the
Yeah.
bigger markets?
Yes.
Okay, so what should we do here, guys, gals?
No comment, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Should we want some public comment?
Anybody out there want to say something? You want to show up for guard duty? We got a gentleman in the back there.
Where are these wells located?
Aaron, want to tell them where they're at?
Sure. I mean, there's 8 facilities, well sites, and then another 5 treatment plants throughout our valley. Some are on the south side of the Virgin River.
The 2 that were broke into were.
Yeah, these ones are just right off White Rock Road, both of them. Near Scenic one and one further up towards White Rock campsite up near that area is the 2 that have recently been vandalized multiple times.
Mr. Williams?
Well, I know that, of course, in 2004,
I need your
don't know
name
if you were on the board back then, but there was, after 9/11, there was tons of concern, a lot of federal money available to.
We need your name, Mr. Williams.
My name's John Williams,
Okay.
Mesquite resident. And so I'm wondering if back then we were aware of and could have gotten some and maybe just didn't get it done, or even today if we checked in to see if there's any federal Homeland Security or any of those type of grants to assist with this kind of a system.
I can't speak to what happened 10 years ago, John, but like I said, the vulnerability assessment was completed. I don't know if that information was brought to the board or not, or, I can't speak to that. We are checking in with the Environmental Protection Agency and Department of Homeland Security to see if there's any federal monies that we might be able to use to reimburse us for this purchase. To date, haven't found anything yet, but we're continuing our search. But we can't wait. Based on our recent history, where they the second attack within 2 weeks, we're going to go ahead and move forward. I hope to at least start hardening our facilities and trying to prevent future thefts and as Kenyon said, try and catch the little suckers.
Is there money in the
Hey, you don't know
budget?
what piece of old guy.
Yeah.
Wes, where are we gonna get the money from? We have it in the budget?
This is not something that was budgeted for, so it would be an augmented item.
Is there anything we need to do in the motion? Or
Dave?
Dave Baldwin, the one thing about security is you can alarm it all you want, but can you get there in time? And I think for that area, Metro's probably not, just because of the remote location, not going to be a quick responder. They're not going to be in there within minutes. And you can get in and out, you can trip the alarm, record them, they got ski masks on or whatever they may have. And you're going to see, oh, they stole it, but you're not going to stop them. Have you gone into any looking at perimeter security? That is trying to keep them out, or at least as they start making an attempt to get in, that you alarm and give them more response time, trying to keep them out of the facility. Because I know it's a toss up, but you got to have the response to get there in the time that your system is made to delay or to alarm. And they can be out stealing copper, cutting some copper cable. They can be out in less than 10 minutes, and Metro's never going to respond in that time. I mean, and that's not against necessarily Metro. It could be potentially pretty difficult for Mesquite Police Department to respond in that time too. So that's why I didn't know if you'd looked into perimeter security.
Yeah, we've started those discussions among staff. We haven't been able to fully flesh those out and start looking at what those costs might end up being, but we've started those discussions.
Because normally, I'm assuming, I haven't been up there, but I'm assuming these are just cyclone fences.
Yes.
Open, so I mean, you can do everything you want. You can put concertina wire, you can do everything around it, and they take some, $10 snips and snip a hole in it,
Yeah,
and just
very
lay
good
it
at
back.
that, by the way.
Lay it open like a door, and what you have to do is almost put something up like a CMU block wall that literally.
We've talked about
Stops,
electrifying the fence.
Take
so-
some of that copper wire they're stealing and just light up the whole.
Yeah, I mean, electrifying and things like that become liability, but most of the time it's perimeter control, things like CMU block walls to keep them. They can't penetrate that very fast, and so you have a perimeter alarm. And when anybody comes around the perimeter, where they have to climb it or whatever, you alarm and at least maybe give the place, 30 minutes to respond or something like that. Just outside this thought.
Good comment.
maybe do like in the old days and get 5 or 6 pit bulls and throw them in there.
Well,
In a jar.
And this does fall under, as Mr. Williams brought up, the Homeland Security, since 9/11, we've had to keep, 24/7 people on call, so I hope the press will inform the public that this is a serious offense if you're captured. Okay. Any other comments from the public? Any other comments from the board?
I think it's something that we need to take care of. I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot of, we can build up to more security, but I think dragging our feet and trying to decide, we need to just get it taken care of.
Started.
I think a block wall would be a good idea though to look at and see what that's gonna.
Well, we need to, that's gonna cost us some bucks, and we need to make sure we got that in the agenda, or in the budget, but.
Okay, I'll look for a motion.
Well, based on the comments, and if this were to happen this summer, I think, the 46,900 $66 plus the monthly security and data that charges, that would be my recommendation. As Aaron said, if this goes down in the summer, we've got some real issues, so I would recommend option 2, and let's get that done as soon as we can.
You're gonna make that motion?
Is that
That's
your
what I
mo-
recommend.
That's your motion,
I'll
okay?
second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all those in favor, raise your right hand. That motion carries.